Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
which sexual acts are very acceptable in 2026 but was seen very differently in 2006? Anything seems to go now. Luckily, 2 girls 1 cup is still largely viewed as unacceptable. I gotta wait till 2036. 40,036. Sex with me has gotten more popular for sure. It's happened a few times since 2006. Pics or it didn't happen. It's Reddit. It didn't happen. I think rimming is viewed more favorably these days. Poly relationships, certainly. Anything to do with foreskin, like docking, as Americans were a lot more anti-foreskin in 2006. Gay sex without protection is seen as more neutral today post-prep, whereas it was considered a real stupid risk in 2006. For straight people, pegging definitely seems to be more popular, and certain things like SPH, chastity caging, gooning, edging, femboys, etc. were unheard of in 2006. This is a journal-level analysis. Beautiful. Each generation thinks it invented sex, each generation is totally mistaken. Anything along that line today was commonplace both in Pompeii and in Victorian England, the differences lie only in the degree of cover-up, if any. Robert Heinlein: we got people in here claiming swingers didn't exist in the 60s and 70s and it's definitely a recent phenomenon lol. Key parties. Licking the butthole. But do you eat da poo poo? Ein all fiast ting. I don't think all the stepmom, stepbrother, step whatever porn was such a hit 20 years ago. Or maybe I lived under a rock. It's such a weak cop-out for porn titles too. They just take any regular porn and throw step on it. It just seems so lazy. For real, it used to be teacher gives naughty student a D, now we get stepteacher gives naughty stepstudent a D. We used to be a proper country. Apparently billionaires and presidents raping children is much more acceptable today than it was in 2006. Edit: I am not trying to be glib. We have names. We have evidence. We have the files. We refuse to do what must be done. That's what makes it acceptable. Edit 2, changing, having sex with, 2, raping. Raping, not having sex, raping children and possibly way worse. A girl getting caught shooting dirty solo videos in an Oregon State University library set off a huge wave of copycat videos and I think influenced camgirl culture to a big degree. This had more to do with HD cameras and mics being much more obtainable and affordable. Worked in an electronics store near Chatsworth, saw many porn stars buying cameras, mics. My fave was one buying a 10% camera HD home security system. Eyes: Kendra Sunderland. I don't remember hearing about spitting in mouths before 2016. Oh no, it was definitely a thing circa 2009 in sexualized media. I will not elaborate further. Sucking your girlfriend's cock. I just wish it wasn't bigger than mine. Quote: fun story, as a teen boy, dick size was an occasional topic in my friend group. As we grew up, my younger brother joined said group and heard the talk about me being the, forgive my phrasing, biggest member. When I transitioned, my brother came up to me and told me the only downside was that he now knew his sister was bigger than he is. The whole pegging thing is something that would never have even been on anyone's mind back then, let alone spoken about openly. Ralph Safaretto says speak for yourself. She was a hoo-ah, mommy's little wooer, unless you were reading Savage Love. It was old hat by 2006. Liking feet is mainstream now and not as kept secret as it was then. Rex Ryan foot the bill for us all. Quentin is the real og. Tarantino's investment playing out. 20 years ago you almost never would get stuck in a washing machine. They are a fucking menace. Exclamation mark. To be fair, most washing machines were top loaders 20 years ago. Open relationships weren't talked much about back in '06 but these days seems like a lot of people open their relationship for whatever reason. This is true. I think there's a lot more understanding and acceptance of non-traditional relationship types like polyamory, open relationships, fuck buddies, etc. To be fair, a lot more people have access to see whoever else is available around them nowadays versus back then people didn't have that option. Having sex with someone born in 2006. Wait till more released of the Epstein list. Just homosexuality in general. I feel like we made a lot of progress and now have moved back the last few years. I know what you mean. I think it'll get better though. In the grand scheme of things we're still in the very early stages of it being 100% accepted by everyone. The progress we did make was made incredibly fast, just think how it'll be 50 years down the line even. Salad tossing. It was definitely stigmatized in 2006 and now it seems to be the norm. Is it really the norm though, or just gets talked about a lot online? Yeah, it could just be that people are talking about it more. But it does seem to be more socially acceptable than it was 20 years ago for sure. I found this, Heterosexual Adults, a 2021 study of heterosexual adults in a sexual health clinic found that over 20% of participants had engaged in rimming. I know I'm going to hate myself for this, but what is salad tossing? Oh, and don't ask is an acceptable response. Eating ass. Good old-fashioned rim jobs, applying tongue and mouth to anus. I feel like oral sex has gone from a rare, very, sometimes, actor, basically like kissing, thing over the last couple decades. For example, when Bill Clinton was going through the whole blowjob scandal, it was so salacious because oral sex was right on the border of taboo to talk about publicly. Now, Jesus, middle schoolers consider it second base. I mean, it used to be third base, so if it's gone down by a base, that seems about right. Goddamn sexflation. Oral sex has always been mainstream. What are you talking about? Yeah, there was a Seinfeld episode about Jerry's move. Clinton scandal was never about the specific sex act. What on earth, lol? Oral sex has been a normal part of sex since it was invented thousands of years ago. Just because people didn't want to hear our president talk about getting it doesn't mean it was rare. Eating ass. Let me personally assure you, an extraordinary amount of ass was eaten in 2006. I shall say no more. I did my part back then, and continue to support the cause today. Definitely butt stuff. Cunnilingus. There was shame involved in it in the past. The Sopranos TV show helped with the shaming. Now it's seen as being a bad partner if foreplay doesn't involve oral for both. Didn't Michael Douglas claim he got throat cancer from this? An avid cigar smoker got throat cancer and blamed it on eating too much pussy. It was actually normal in the 2000s. Everyone thought Tony was out of touch then as well. He was intentionally portrayed as sexist and racist. The shit he said about his daughter's black boyfriend, I actually felt reflexive anger at it. Really great show, but he's hardly the yardstick of normalcy, lol. I was very happily providing this service well before 2006. What was once only kinky stripper shoes are now worn by soccer moms. Crocs. A lot of stripper and stripper adjacent wear is common in broad daylight nowadays, thanks to the Kardashians and others, not complaining, but the amount of sheer clothing that is being worn commonly these days that only strippers and Cher would wear would have affected teenage me in a ton of ways. My thought is cuckolding, but I suppose that was slowly working its way to being normal around that time with specific genre sites popping up. And it's not like the idea came out of nowhere at that time. But was it something that feels not necessarily common, but more talked about in a modern era? It's kind of funny cause it feels like a ton of this stuff was always there bubbling under the surface, it's just now you can be open and free about it cause more and more people DGAF. My theory is that porn has to keep escalating to bring attention from the rest. And there is far more porn now than there used to be. In the medieval period, it was among the most popular plots for bawdy narrative poetry. Chaucer even wrote a few as part of the Canterbury Tales. I feel like BDSM became a more commonly accepted thing after 50 Shades. At least, people began talking more openly about how BDSM is properly done once 50 Shades showed us a bad example of the lifestyle, and we all became more comfortable with the fact that BDSM existed. That was also an intentional reaction from the BDSM community itself, to speak up and state that what was represented in 50 Shades is not representative of the BDSM community, and to provide a counter-narrative to prevent the harm that 50 Shades could have caused if left unchecked. And yet the movie gives a very bad example by not respecting safe words. That's rape. 2006 I put my hand gently on top of a girl's head during a blowjob and the next day got a lecture on respecting women from 3 of her friends. The other day a girl told me not to face fuck her too hard unless I was okay with her vomiting. She was okay with it. I try not to be jealous of people on here because one should focus on what they have. But brother, I am jealous of that last sentence. It honestly seems pretty common now. Not with girls my age so much, but with like girls in their 20s. They're just as porn-brained as men now. Well, we used to prosecute, shame and exile child rapists. Now we put them into positions of power and turn a blind eye. Liking feet is way more acceptable. It should have always been acceptable. People make such a big deal about foot kinks over nothing. Some women have real pretty feet, especially with high heels, toe rings, pedicures, etc. This guy feets. You never go ass to mouth. Advice I live by to this day. Basically everything that would be considered emasculating for men. Choking. If anything, I associate that more with early 2000s porn. You almost never see that now. I feel like choking is still very mainstream. Choking is a major public health issue now. Evidence suggests that choking, strangulation, is the second most common cause of stroke in young women aged 18 to 45. The amount of force required to compress the venous return and arterial blood supply to the brain is very small compared to what PPL think, and a lot of damage can be done unintentionally. And when it's intentional and non-consensual, it's one of the reddest of red flags which precedes intimate partner murder. Luckily that category is small in terms of overall cases, but the normalization of this particular aspect of kink is really worrying imho. I can't speak for 2006, but it seems like choking has been completely normalized these days. Porn-brained guys think we're all into that now, no thank you. It's funny because I've had a decent number of women ask to be choked. Literally 90% of the women I've slept with wanted to be choked. Some took it so far that I thought they were going to pass out. Not everybody might be into it, but I wouldn't dismiss it as being normalized or new. I think a kink such as choking or breath play being more discussed is good. It increases education and safety, which, for a semi-dangerous kink, is a good thing. I've had multiple guys straight up start choking me without asking. It's the number one reason why I am critical of porn. It's made people so blind to how extreme things like choking are.